Welcome in the Locked On Phillies. The Phillies shut out the Rangers and lost anyway. How'd they do that? How's that possible? I'll tell you all about it next on today's Locked On Phillies.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome in. This is Locked On Phillies. I am your host, Connor Thomas. Been talking Phillies baseball for years over on 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy to be with you here as your host of Locked On Phillies. And I want to thank you for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So, yeah, it's true. What I said in my tease is true. The Phillies shut out the Texas Rangers. Well, technically, they did what they would have needed to shut out the Texas Rangers. But for the fifth time this season. That's crazy. This has already happened 5 times across MLB, not in the Phillies season, but across Major League Baseball. A game has gone into extra innings with a score of 0-0. The Phillies threw 0 scoreless innings through 9 scoreless innings against the Texas Rangers and still found a way to lose. It's almost impossible to do. I can't think of the last time the Phillies would have done it. Shut a team out through 9 and lost the game. It's probably the first time in my lifetime that's ever happened. And, well, let's talk about what exactly happened to make that happen. Let's just go through. Normally, I go through the scoring plays to start. Well, we're going to go through the lineup first because it's easier to do this. Alec Bohm, 0-5. Bryce Harper, 0-4. Rhys Hoskins, 0-3. JT Realmuto, 0-3. Roman Quinn, 0-4. Gene Segura, 1-4. Didi Gregorius, 1-4. Matt Vierling, 0-2. Odubel Herrera, 0-1. Now, Roman Quinn did end up getting on off of an error, but the only guys who really hit in this one, Nick Castellanos was 3-4. That was really it. Schwarber went 1-3, and he also walked to get on. But really, it was Nick Castellanos with 3 hits. The rest of the team combined had 3 hits. Nick Castellanos coming off of a day where he was off for the birth of his son. So congratulations again on that. I know I said that in yesterday's episode. He showed up. He showed up ready to go. The rest of his team did not. And it's not exactly like the Rangers had a banner night at the dish either. Marcus Semien was the only guy they had with multiple hits in the game. Corey Seager went 0-4. Adolis Garcia went 0-4. Cole Calhoun only had 1 hit. Mitch Garver only had 1 hit. Really, there was not much from either side. And props to Zack Wheeler for what he did in this one as far as an outing. He went 7 2/3. He only allowed 6 hits, no runs, struck out 7, only 1 walk. Kind of a controversial decision by Joe Girardi. I almost called him Joe Madden. I don't know why. By Joe Girardi in this one, the Phillies manager, who decided to pull Zack Wheeler with only 78 pitches thrown. And you know what? I don't exactly hate what was going on there. A lefty coming up, top of the order coming up. Jose Alvarado, a lefty specialist who's also good in that spot where you want him in the 8th inning. I don't mind that, and it paid off. So for all the people who are like, 78's too early to pull him, you're absolutely right. And it says my issue more of that is the overarching problems, not so much in the game. But the fact that 78 is not a comfortable number for Joe Girardi to have Zack Wheeler out there past at this point in the season is crazy. He's thrown more than that in other outings, but, we're still stretching him out. We don't know if he could go complete game. It's crazy to be saying that on it was May 4th yesterday. It's crazy to be saying that on May 4th. Now we're happy Cinco de Mayo, by the way, to everyone out there. Enjoy a couple margaritas because the Phillies are going to make you want to drink when you watch the way they play. And not in a good way. But to only have him go 78 pitches and then say, yeah, we got to yank him partially because of the pitch count is just, it's nuts. It ended up being the right decision. Corey Knebel then came in and got the full 9th inning worth of work, and he worked out of that one. 1K, no hits, no runs, no walks, nothing there. He's got a .87 ERA, so he's been outstanding so far for this team. But I just don't understand Joe Girardi's hesitance to keep Zack Wheeler in past those 78 pitches, regardless of situation. Like, if you believe he's near the end of his rope and you go to Jose Alvarado, I've got no issue with that. But he shouldn't be near the end of his rope at 78 pitches. And that just says that this team does not do a good enough job of preparing their pitchers in the offseason. I know Zack Wheeler had issues, but man, stretch these guys out. I talked to Ricky Batalico when he came into the studio over at 97.5 The Fanatic on our morning show, the John Kincaid Show. And he was saying that, yeah, like Zack Wheeler should easily be able to throw more than that. And you've got to stretch these guys out, even if logistically and strategically it somewhat makes sense to go get the lefty there out of the pen. Well, Zack Wheeler should be able to handle that and another inning's worth of work and should have been able to go the full 9 without Joe Girardi feeling the need to pull him. It's just stretch these arms out or they're not going to be able to or be used to throwing these big innings when you need him to throw 95, 100, 105 pitches. So that was weird. And then, well, we got to talk about how the game ended because both teams went in 0-0 into the 10th inning. And Major League Baseball doing that dumb, stupid, I hate it, runner on second rule. Well, the Rangers start with a runner on second in the top of the 10th inning. And then with 2 outs, Brad Miller at the dish just flares one to right field, runner on second and runner on third. Both of those runners score. So, of course, it's the former Philly. Bamboo, Brad Miller. It makes my brain hurt that that's the guy that beat you in this game, a utility guy that's getting just his 4th at bat of the game. He was 0 for 3 going into that, and just a bloop single to right field does it. It's a painful way to lose a ball game, especially when you shut them out through 9 innings. But the Phillies still had a chance. They scored the ghost runner on second in the bottom of the 10th to make it a 2-1 ball game. But then eventually they get the final outs, they being the Texas Rangers. The final outs in this one came by way of a ground out by Odubel Herrera, and then Alec Boehm struck out swinging. And just like that, ball game over. So this Phillies offense is not clutch. They're not hitting the ball well. They're not fielding the ball all that well. And we knew that was coming, but when you get, I just don't understand. I can't comprehend how a team that's a payroll this big can have this many games where the offense is just absent. And overall, the offense is not bad. That's not the issue. They're high up in the hierarchy of runs scored in Major League Baseball. They're higher up than lower. So they're in the top half of the league in batting average as a team. It's just they don't have consistency and they don't have a consistent approach at the plate. And that's what bothers me. And I don't know if it's Joe Girardi. I don't know if it's hitting coach Kevin Long. I don't know if it's the individual players trying to do too much because of the expectations of this team or the new guys getting the contracts or the money that some of these guys are owed big contracts for. Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, and Nick Castellanos. I don't know if that pressure is getting them. I honestly can't tell you what it is because this team on paper should be producing and winning, and they got the pitching they needed last night to do it, and they just can't come through. Some teams just don't have the clutch gene. Some teams just get bad luck. I honestly can't tell you what it is, and it may lead back to the manager. It may lead back to Dave Dombrowski. But at this point, there's one thing I do know. The team isn't winning ball games. They're not in a good spot. They're not in a great spot in the NL East. The Mets continue to pull further and further away, and now you got a 4-game series with New York, which we'll talk about in our next segment, previewing that. And that could put you as far back as 10 games in the division, and we are in early May. And don't forget, the season started late. They're about a month into the season, and they could be 10 games back by the time this next series is over. That is time to hit the panic button. That is time where a lot of people are going to start calling for the manager. And I told you yesterday, I don't think that they have a better option than Joe Girardi right now. I don't think they move on from him because they don't have a better option. But, man, I can't fault anybody who's saying that at the given time because I understand where you're coming from. This team does not look good. They've lost, 4 in a row now? No, 3 in a row. They lost the last one against the Mets after taking the middle game up there at Citi Field, and then they lost 2 against the Rangers. And now you get to see those Mets again with a strong pitching staff, with an offense that's firing on all cylinders up there. And even though you get the game at home, man, this team right now, they could really use a big series against the Mets or something to jumpstart them because right now it feels like they are a sinking ship, and it's only early May. That's where the Phillies currently stand. It's not great. So coming up, we'll break down the next series against the New York Mets and see if there's a silver lining here, an opportunity to get right. Do they have chances? I know I kind of went through a little bit yesterday, but we'll dive in depth in a full segment about the pitching matchups and what the Phillies could possibly do to steal a game or a couple games in this upcoming series with New York. Right now, the Phillies' best chance to get a ring might be to check out our next sponsor, BlueNile.com. Blue Nile is awesome. And with Mother's Day coming up, well, you got to get a great gift for mom, your wife, the special woman in your life. There's never a bad time to give a wonderful gift, and especially when we're celebrating our moms, right? They're our favorite, the number one, always are. And the best way to show your appreciation, your love for mom is to go to BlueNile.com and pick her out some beautiful, everyday fine jewelry. This isn't super expensive stuff. It's very affordable because the people at Blue Nile, they understand that your mom needs some everyday fine wear. She doesn't have to wear a billion-dollar necklace to make her feel special, but they've got very affordable, very beautiful pieces like bracelets, necklaces, rings, earrings, any fine everyday wear stuff that you want to get mom as a gift. And if you're like me and you don't really understand the world of jewelry, their experts will help you pick out the best piece for your mom this Mother's Day. The best part, when it ships, discreet packaging. So if your mom's like me and she's very curious and she gets mail, she always wants to ask you, what'd you get delivered? Well, she won't find out with this one because Blue Nile, they're great at what they do, hiding the presents until it's time to reveal the great gift that you picked out that your mom's going to wear every day and cherish forever. This Mother's Day, you want to make sure you give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And the best part, Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off a $500 order. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day, though, so make sure you hop in now and use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, it ships free, and arrives, like I said, in that discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So shop stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com. Okay, let's jump into a little bit of information about the New York Mets coming up and see what games the Phillies have a chance to take advantage of. You know it's not crazy, or it'd be crazy actually. The Phillies have some favorable pitching matchups the way that this series shakes out against the New York Mets. They don't have to see new Jacob deGrom, as I've been calling him, Tyler McGill in this one, but they see everybody else since it's a 4-game set with the Mets visiting. 6:45 p.m. is first pitch tonight, and it will be Aaron Nola taking on Taijuan Walker. Walker, while he is a strong starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, and he's handled the Phillies relatively well this year, outside of the first start against the Phils where he had an injury, his last start, well, he looked pretty darn good against Philadelphia up there at Citi Field. But Aaron Nola has also looked really good this year. I think it's a great opportunity. And you saw last night, the Phillies saw lefty. They don't see lefties well. They hit righties better for some reason. Taijuan Walker coming in, got a chance to take advantage there. That's a game that I would honestly give the pitching edge to the Philadelphia Phillies. The lineup edge right now has to go to the Mets in every single one of these games until the Phillies break out again like they did in their series with the Colorado Rockies. But I'm giving Nola the edge in that one. This next one, well, it's Kyle Gibson, who you could argue has had the best year of any Philadelphia Phillies pitcher so far. Well, starting pitcher. Corey Knebel's probably the best pitcher in general so far this season for the Phillies. He'll get the Max Scherzer assignment. So if you could pick anyone right now to go against Max Scherzer, it'd probably have to be Gibson. He's not your most talented pitcher, but he's had the best start to the season. And if he can shut down the Mets and the Phillies can scrape a couple across early, they might have a chance to steal that. Now when I give the edge, of course, to New York, but Kyle Gibson at least gives you a chance in that one. The next one, you got Zach Eflin against Bassett. Bassett, of course, been complaining about the quality of the baseball and everything like that. You've heard some of his comments earlier in this year, but he's been off to an all right start, a 2.61 ERA. He's got 3 wins already, a whip below 1. So, I think that's an all right start by most measures, by basically every measure. Not a great matchup for the Phillies there, but who knows? Eflin might be able to steal one, and Chris Bassett is not the ace of this staff by any stretch of the imagination. So when you have Eflin go, you want to see him face a gettable pitcher. Bassett, while he's been good, is gettable. It's possible. I still give the edge to the Mets in that one. But then on May 8th, this Sunday, in a 1:35 at a matinee game, you get Ranger Suarez versus Carlos Cookie Carrasco. And even though Cookie is a great name, and he's been a solid pitcher in Major League Baseball for a long time now, at this point in his career, I'm probably going to give the edge to Ranger Suarez. His ceiling is higher than what Carrasco's is on a day-to-day basis. And that means the Phillies will have the advantage, in my mind, in 2 pitching matchups out of the 4. What you got to do is you got to win those 2 games. You got to win the beginner and you got to win the ender. And then if you can, steal one in the middle. And it'll probably be that Zach Eflin, Chris Bassett matchup. That's the plan. That's the way to get through, because I'm looking at this lineup and what the Philadelphia Phillies have done lately. Well, it isn't much. They're just not hitting right now. And maybe there's something weird with the Rangers where it's just one of those interleague teams that you don't see very often, that you just can't pick up on well. And there's weird teams like that. They don't necessarily have to be interleague. We know the Phillies struggle with the Marlins, but the Phillies also seem to have issues with the Diamondbacks, even in years where the Diamondbacks have been terrible. They've come to Citizens Bank Park and they have absolutely raked. They have hit the lights out against the Philadelphia Phillies at points in the past. Sometimes you just have those teams, and maybe the Rangers are one of those teams where they just seem to find ways to win against the Phillies. We don't know. The sample size is too small. What we do know is the Phillies have played the Mets tough in just about every game that they've played against them so far this year. Some of them have been bigger deficits than others, but it always feels like for the first 4, 5, 6 innings, the Phillies are in games against the Mets, which means they've got opportunities to win. And hey, a couple bounces go their way in this series, they could take 3 or 4. I don't know that they'll sweep. I don't know that that's even within the realm of possibility to sweep a team as good as the Mets when a team like the Phillies are playing as bad as they are. But 3 or 4 is possible, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself into something positive coming out of this series because, well, I heard more of it today. We talked about it in yesterday's episode. Joe Girardi may not make the road trip when the Phillies go out to the West Coast if they get swept by the New York Mets. They could make a change. The Phillies at that point, they're 11-14 now, I believe. Yes. So they would be, if they lose 4 more, 11-18, 7 games below 500 already at this point in the season, just about a month in. Yeah, that would be less than ideal, and then that would give 4 wins to the Mets, meaning a full game in the standings for each loss in the series. But the good news is they can make up those, so we'll see. Doesn't get any easier after that, though. They have to head on the road to Seattle for 3 games following this Mets series. They have to head to Los Angeles to face the Dodgers for 4 on the road. And then you get San Diego coming here. And then the Dodgers again. I mean, there's a brutal stretch against some West Coast teams. And then, oh, man, the Braves come to town. The Mets come to town. The San Francisco Giants, the Angels, who are at first place in the American League West. They don't get another easy game until they see, I guess, the Brewers in June. So the rest of this month is a brutal stretch for the Phillies. They're going to have to wake up and figure some stuff out, or, yeah, they're going to be out of it early. And not like completely dead, but when you go 12 to 15 games back into the division, you're starting to put the first nails in the coffin of the season for the 2022 Phillies. They need to make hay now, and it's going to be a tough series to do it, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, here's hoping. That's all I can do at this point because I don't know what's going on with this team. They're a mystery to me. How they can't put together a full game is crazy. Some of the managerial decisions seem crazy, and just the offense, the pitching, the bullpen. There have been points where it's been really good. It's just not consistent enough. Every day they look like a totally different team, and we'll see if that changes in the series against the Mets. Joe Girardi better hope so, because a lot of people feel like his job's in jeopardy, and Dave Dombrowski could be feeling the same way. I don't. I told you I don't, but hey, I'm not the one who makes personnel decisions for the Philadelphia Phillies, so we'll see how it goes. On the other side, though, we get to take a nice break, a moment of zen, as Jon Stewart's Daily Show used to call it back in the day, where we have our segment Stepping Off, where we talk about stuff outside the realms of baseball. And I'm going to need your input on this one. I'm going to ask you to comment, tweet at me, respond to some stuff, and I'll put the question out on Twitter. It's not a poll, like off the poll, but this is a open-ended question that I need some interesting feedback on, because I had a thought while I was at the game watching from the upper decks, Dollar Dog Night at Citizens Bank Park. And I want to run it by you guys and Stepping Off so we can not have to worry about the Phillies' woes or struggles for at least one segment out of the week here on Locked On Phillies. I'll tell you more about what that question is in just a second. Speaking of not fun stretch of Phillies baseball, well, you can see my immediate reaction. And even though I'm not having fun, it's fun for you. I know this for a fact because misery loves company? Well, when you get upset about your baseball team, when you get upset about Phillies losses, you can go and check out Locked On Nows. I do my nows and immediate reactions, and something about seeing someone else, seeing me go through the same feelings that you're probably feeling at home watching this team. Well, it can help you cope with a rough start to the 2022 season. Locked On Nows are available wherever you get your podcasts, but you can only find this type of coverage on the Locked On Network. Our hosts, our experts give you immediate reactions to breaking news around Major League Baseball and all of the games Sunday through Thursday. You get immediate reactions, so go ahead and check that out. And thank you, as always, for making Locked On Phillies your first listen. But make sure you're also listening and checking out the videos and the podcast put out by Locked On Now. It's awesome, and it's only exclusive here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Oh, I haven't told you about this in a minute, but our next partner has a product I use literally every day. So I think about it. I'm like, when's my next read going to be for Athletic Greens, AG1? I started taking AG1 because my diet is terrible, but I like to stay in good shape. And even though I don't know how to eat well, I can get great nutrients and nutrition every morning by taking Athletic Greens, by taking AG1. So what exactly is this stuff? Well, it's just one delicious scoop, just like you do with protein powder or any other special supplement. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins with this one, though. Minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Oh, it's all great for you. I don't know how to eat well, but AG1 puts it all in one bottle for me to take easily. So I take it every morning after I get done with the morning show. I get it right before I go to the gym, and it makes me feel great. It helps me with energy, helps me feel healthier. All of it is awesome. And let me tell you how important a multivitamin is, because I didn't know. But tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's really important to choose the right one, the best ingredients. Do you work at GNC? Do you work at some of these other companies where you don't know what's going into what, and there's just some guy behind the counter who's trying to give you the right stuff? Dude, don't trust that. They don't know what they're doing. What you really want to do is you want to check out AG1 because they put all of this stuff together in one mixture for you. It's thoughtless. You don't even have to worry about it. You just put the scoop in the water, you shake it up, you drink it. It's great for you. You're healthier right away. It's amazing. And the best part is you can get a great deal with Athletic Greens. You can go ahead and check out athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. They're awesome. I swear by it. I take it every day. So go ahead and check out Athletic Greens. This episode is also brought to you by Bet Online. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, including this year's, basketball playoffs, which aren't going great for the Philadelphia 76ers. But hey, if Joel Embiid comes back, maybe they could turn it around. You can bet on that there. Plus, Major League Baseball season is in full swing, and this weekend's Run to the Roses at the Kentucky Derby. It's back. You want to bet on the ponies? Go ahead and check out Bet Online. They got all the information you need to pick out a winner. That's because Bet Online is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Bet Online, it's where the game starts. Okay, so this partially came up while I was at the ballpark on Tuesday night watching Dollar Dog Night. This is talking about stepping off, by the way, which is our segment where we step off the mound, take a breather, call time, and it's not a baseball, it's a baseball adjacent conversation, but it's not strategy. It's not that the Phillies win or lose. It's a fun side topic that we can enjoy despite where the Phillies are talent-wise, well, not even talent-wise, record-wise right now. So that's our stepping off segment we do at the middle episode of every week. This being the middle episode, with an episode coming up Saturday and a little bit pushed back schedule with the off day on Monday. Well, it's stepping off time. And I had this conversation with some of my buddies. I thought about it. You'll see why again last night. And they said, well, you should ask on the podcast. And you know what? I said, that's a great idea, buddies. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to ask you to tell me your thoughts on this. I was sitting there. I was thinking, there should be a better way to end a baseball game than just the extra innings runner on second rule. We actually just saw it in action. What are the chances? We saw it in action last night. And I was trying to come up with creative, inventive ways, not just, flip a coin, stuff like that. That's boring. But fun, exciting ways to end a baseball game that are rule changes but don't really have the runner on second cheap feel to them. And here are some of my favorites. Well, I'll give you my first one is a home run derby. You get to pick two players and you get to pick two pitchers. And those pitchers go out there and they throw. And the first one to hit a home run, and I guess you can even say you only get to throw fastballs, but they have to be like either strike or ball. You can locate them wherever you want. But fastballs only. You pick your best hitter and you go out there, and the pitcher, you can give them an L screen so they don't get hurt or anything like that. No fielders out there. And first one to hit a home run wins. That would be awesome. Something like that. Or even the typical home run derby. You get a batting practice pitcher. You each get like 2 minutes of time. And whoever hits the most home runs before your timer runs out, do it in the format that the MLB home run derby on All-Star Week is done. I think that would be fun. I think if you had a velocity competition, you throw two guys out there and you say, okay, you can get like a 3-step crow hop start, and we have 3 throws, and whoever logs the hardest throw, the fastest throw, your team wins. That would be wild. Could you imagine the guys huddled around cheering their guy on as Jose Alvarado crow hops and throws like 105 into the backstop? That'd be pretty cool. Ideas like that. Fun, exciting ways to end a ball game. Not that these are realistic, but it's fun to think about. And I'm just interested to see what creative stuff you come up with. Because those are some of the things. Again, don't flip a coin. Tell me something like, I don't know, the coolest bat trick wins it. You play 2-ball. Have you ever seen 2-ball? It's where you hold like 2 balls in one hand and you toss them to each other. So for example, I got like a football and a baseball here. You toss both at the same time and you have to catch them. And if you drop one, then that's an out, and you get 3 outs, and then that player is gone from the game, something like that. There's plenty of creative stuff that you can do. I'm interested just to see where your minds go with this. So comment on this episode, tweet at me at ConnorThomas975, tweet at me at LO_Phillies. Let me know some creative ways to end a ball game. That's my topic for stepping off, and something that I want to hear what your thoughts are. That's all I've got for you today. Only so much can be said when you shut out a team and you end up losing anyway. Well, shut out a team through 9 and you lose anyway. Hopefully, some better games in this series with the Mets that we can talk about, because right now things are bleak for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's still early, though. Not that early anymore, but it's still early enough that they can certainly turn this around. They better get going quick, though. Speaking of getting going quick, I got to get going quick. I've got TV the next couple days on NBC Sports Philadelphia. So if you're in the Philadelphia area and want to tune in, see this smiling face on your televisions, you can go ahead and do that. But that's all the time I've got for you today. I want to thank you, as always, for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, Sully, he's awesome. He knows baseball inside and out. It's like an encyclopedia for the game and a history book all mixed into one. Well, I guess encyclopedias have history in them too. You know what I'm saying. The dude knows baseball, and he knows the history of the game, and he's got stories for days. So check out Locked On MLB. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you're rating, reviewing, subscribing, liking, 5-star reviews, comments, whatever you can do to give me feedback, give me positive stuff, positive reviews, following on Twitter. All of that good stuff helps us grow the brand of Locked On, and also, of course, of Locked On Phillies. So make sure you're doing all of that so you get the best experience possible following Locked On Phillies for the best Philadelphia Phillies content on the planet. That's all I've got for you today. I will talk to you all after hopefully a Phillies win in the opener against the Mets tomorrow.